like I said, I was at the diner in the truck stop, and it was just incoherent babble when I was trying to order breakfast. So I had a pen that I held up, and the waitress gave me a Post-it note, and I wrote 911, and they called the ambulance for me. And they knocked me out in the ambulance. And so I can only judge by knowing that my sister, she was my emergency contact, and she's down in Sugar Land, and it was a 2-day trip for them to travel from Sugar Land up to Kansas City. And when I woke up, the last thing I remembered was I was climbing into the ambulance. I knew they gave me something in the ambulance to knock me out. And I woke up, of course, not realizing 2 days had transpired, because I woke up and here's my sister and her husband and my father coming into the ICU. So I was actually flown from Joplin, Missouri to Kansas City, the University of Kansas Hospital in Kansas City. So I was brought there on life support, and it was a couple of days later when I woke up. And so I think that at the University of Kansas City, the University of Kansas Hospital, they knew how to diagnose TTP. It was in Joplin, Missouri, where they did not know how to diagnose TTP. I don't even know if they had a hematologist on staff. Chances are they made phone calls to other hospitals, because they even gave me platelets in the emergency room in Joplin, Missouri, and that's just fueling the fire with TTP. So they're, because they didn't know, perhaps they had never encountered a patient with TTP. It's just a small community hospital where the University of Kansas Hospital in Kansas City is a very big teaching hospital. So fortunately, they made the right phone calls and arranged for me to get transported up to Kansas City. And I was in the hospital for 35 days in Kansas City. So it really was in Joplin. And of course, I'm not saying anything negative about the healthcare professionals there in Joplin. If they've never seen TTP, if they don't know how to diagnose it, what can you expect? If I would have even have been awake and unable to speak, I could have written down, low platelets, high LDH, presence of schistocytes, I'm back in TTP. I could have written all that down for them, but it just didn't happen that way. So that was quite an ordeal, really.